All right. Good afternoon. Ray here and Ryan, Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan, first one of 2024. It's been a couple weeks since we've actually had a live session here, so good to see you all. Welcome. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Kicking off 2024. Got some goals set. Looking, 2023 was a good year, and so got new goals and excited to achieve them and see what we can do in this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know it hasn't been really that long since I've seen you, but it feels like it's been a long time. So it's
Definitely.
it's awesome to see your face, and I love the shirt that you're wearing.
Go Huskies.
That's right.
Good deal. Well, yeah. And so hopefully, I know that this is streaming in the middle of the game. And so hopefully some of you are able to watch on the replay if you're not able to watch live. And if you are, let us know that you watched. We'd appreciate it. Um, Before we get too far into it, just wanted to touch base and remind everybody that Ryan and I are both promoters for Innovative Posh. And so we do have a line of products both for vitamins, supplements, as well as skincare and self care. So some of the things that we'll talk about today, we do have some options to help you out with getting there. So reach out to either one of us if you'd like to know information about that. So getting into it, wanted to, Ryan, I mentioned to you that I wanted to touch base and talk about setting achievable goals and what that looks like for different folks on different levels. And so um, I'll go ahead and let you kind of just, if you have anything that you wanted to kick off with before I jump into some notes that I have.
Yeah. No, it's always a great time of year to start setting goals or thinking about goals. We're what 8 days into
Yeah.
the new year, so still fresh and plenty early. And think me personally, I kind of think of goals. I have kind of levels to them. Like I have big goals that I want to get that I know I'm
Mhm.
not going to get to tomorrow. I'm not going to achieve next week, next month. It's going to take some time and consistency to build to them. But then I have some shorter term goals that I can get to more quickly than the other ones. They may take a week or a few days, but it's stuff that it's more easily attainable, and which when you can hit those, your confidence builds, and then that helps you propel forward to get those bigger, loftier goals that are further down the road, or those higher reaching goals. So yeah, I've been don't quite have all of mine um, ironed out, set in stone yet of what I want to do. I mean, I have ideas in my head, but I know one of my big ones that I know it's going to take a while because I have to build up the shoulder strength to do it is I want to be able to do a handstand push up without any mats. I want to be able to go all the way to the floor and all the way back up.
Yeah,
So
I saw your post over the weekend. Of you starting to get into that. I mean, that's super exciting. I'm working through a shoulder injury right now, so I was
yeah,
like, and I've been working through a shoulder injury for a few months, if I'm being honest. But you have to not use it almost
right.
to remedy that. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely interested in watching you progress in that. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's yeah, and those are the kind of things though that like I think people forget that you have to set like small specific goals like that, and that's it seems like it might not be a big thing to a lot of people, but that's not an easy task. So
yeah,
to get that done, and it does take a special amount of strength. So uh, I'll be looking forward to hearing you talk about when you've reached that goal and accomplished it, and then how you're going to grow on that. So
yeah.
it'll be
And
cool. Yeah.
what you just said kind of reminded me too. When you're setting your goals, try to make them as specific as you can.
Hmm.
I mean, like I just said, I want to be able to go down to the floor and back up. It's not just okay. I'm almost there and back up. Ooh, I did it. No, I want to be able to touch my head to the floor and have the strength to get myself back up. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and that kind of, you touched on a couple of things too that I didn't want to let go. Is one, it's important to have short term goals and long term goals. And I think a lot of people set those long term goals, and forget the short term in between, because I can have a goal of running a half marathon, um, but if I've only been running a mile at a time, I need to have a today goal of, I need to get to a mile and a half before I can get to 2 miles, before I can work my way up to 13. And so it's important to have those short term goals in between to get you to your long term goal. When it comes to weight management, when it comes to fitness levels, when it comes to what you're eating and everything, that with financial goals, the same difference. It's just that the achievable goals are the ones that are gonna, they have to be achievable in a specific amount of time. You can't say, I want to save, $10,000 by the end of the month if you don't even make that much in a month. So, and so it's just a matter of being realistic about things, and understanding that your body may not be where you can do that right away. And so and sometimes it's not even within a time frame. It's a matter of just getting there and working your way towards it. So um if it takes you a little bit longer, that's fine, as long as you're working towards it, right?
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, any
So
movement towards, like you said, whatever realm your goal is in, it doesn't necessarily have to be fitness. It can be financially, business, relationships,
mm,
whatever. As long as you're moving forward towards those goals, that's what it's all about.
yeah. Well, and it coming off the weekend, kind of something that I reflected on is, I have, my goal again is to lose more weight this year than I have in previous years, and I've gone years and years and years on where January is always an easy month for me to lose weight, just because it's a focus, a mindset that that's set with, that's easily compounded by folks around you, because everybody in January has fitness goals, and everybody, it's real easy to find support in this month. And so it does, it helps that I put on about 10 pounds in December, even though I was trying really hard not to, but those typically come off quicker. And so my goal is to get past that and to move beyond that, and to be, to be a little bit better than I was last year. And, but also recognizing that, like, my goal is different this year, in that I want to build strength more than I want to be, to lose weight. And so, it kind of comes back and forth. And so I'm, I reflect on a little bit. Orange Theory has a challenge that they do at the beginning of every year. It's a transformation challenge. And, it's always a big thing for me to focus on how much weight I can lose during that time. But this year they've implemented a thing, which I'm all for it. Like I love that they're taking a different mindset of it. But you can have one of two goals, and and one is a percentage of weight loss, and the other is percentage of muscle gained. And so I'm just like, how, I didn't have any connection to somebody at corporate, but how perfect is it that they set something that totally feeds where my energy is trying to go this time, and building that muscle and being stronger. I've mentioned before that when we did the Spartan race, I identified that I wanted to be stronger this year than I have been, or next time I do it than when I did it the first time. And so, you have to adjust where your goals are for that. So, it's just kind of random that it worked out that way.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy how just those little things can
Yeah.
just fall together.
Yeah. Well, and and a note that I have written down is weight what did I write down? Weight versus strength. And so, um, you know, you may not have a goal of losing weight. And so you and I working together, you know, if we were working out in the same gym, or even that, you know, we're talking about our goals, we can still hold each other accountable. But it means of recognizing the different goals, and that, you know, some people's weight loss is other people's muscle gain, and understanding that those goals are very important and very different. And it's important to recognize that not everybody's going to lose the same way. Not everybody's going to gain muscle the same way. Not everybody's bodies are built the same way. So when I talk about achievable goals, it's a matter of understanding, you know, I, you know, couples that diet together, typically, I've heard a lot of women talk about, my husband just loses all this weight quick. And then, you know, and it's so much harder for me. And it's because, you know, it's hormones that works into the goal there, and it's understanding that, yeah, you know, your male counterparts are typically going to lose a little bit faster than you, because there's a different, you know, way that the body works that way. And so it sucks for women, but it's also identifying that, you know, you're still progressing. And it's awesome that, you know, when couples do it together, because the support there is huge. So and it means a lot. Um, you know, my wife and I, for the first time this year, are trying two different meal plans, which hurts for me, because my wife's a great cook, and so she does pretty well with trying to make sure that, you know, whatever she cooks, there's a variation of it that we can both have. But when she cooks differently, and her stuff looks a lot more tastier than what I'm having sometimes, I'm like, well, it's a matter of, you know, staying focused. So, and I know you and your wife have, you know, similar issues where, you know, you have different body styles and different goals, and I'm sure that there's conversations that you guys have that are similar to what I'm describing.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
you know, it's you touched on it. You know, having accountability partners with your goals is huge.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hard enough to try to do all this stuff by yourself and stay motivated and stay disciplined. But when you have another person or other people, a group of people that you can lean on, that hey, when you need that extra little push, when they're saying, "Hey, let's go," it makes it a little easier for you to like, all right, we can do this. You
Oh,
know,
for
at the
sure.
same time, when they need that push, you're there to say, "Hey, no, let's keep going. We
Yeah.
got this." And you can still do that, like you said. You know, have similar, even different goals, but you can still hold each other accountable. You know,
Yeah.
hey, did you go do this today? Hey, did you go take care of that today? And still help each other attain those goals, even though they may be completely on opposite ends of the spectrum.
100%. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to touch base on was, you know, with it being the beginning of the year, there's a lot of people that are doing diets that maybe that they've not done before. And I think one thing that I've seen in meal plans and diet plans is that um, folks don't recognize the difference between a diet and a lifestyle change. And so, which typically comes with some heartache at the end of the diet, and by means of gaining back what you've lost, or, you know, or losing what you've gained. If we're talking muscle. And so, you know, I don't know that a lot of folks have been told or have even considered that, you know, if you're doing a very strict diet, you're gonna lose weight pretty quick, but also it makes it that much easier to come back if you fall right off. And so, you know, a lifestyle change is different, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do those strict diets. It's a matter of recognizing and identifying what you're going to do when the diet's done. Because, you know, I watched a thing on the news a couple of days ago about the keto diet, which I did for 3.5 years, um, which apparently I didn't understand was longer um, than most people are able to do it, or probably should do it. I later realized that, you know, it's not something that worked for my lifestyle, because I'm more active than than not. So, um, but it's a matter of, it's a means of a boost to your weight loss, but also identifying that, for me, when I identified that I couldn't continue on that way because that it doesn't work for an active lifestyle, was where the change came in. And so, um, even so, you and I were chatting beforehand that I'm in a boost right now, where I have a higher calorie deficit, and so running is not encouraged when you're not feeling your body properly, because you're burning more calories um, than you're actually than you should be. And so that gets into a whole different thing where, you're burning the calories, you end up burning muscle rather than burning fat, because you don't have the proper macros or micros or whatever the proper terminology is there. And so it's a consideration of what your lifestyle is and how that's going to work out for you. I think a lot of folks end up feeling like a diet didn't work for them because they forget that part ends, but also they ride that high of their diet for so long, and then they start taking little breaks, and then are disappointed when weight comes back. And so there's body types that can manage that, and there's body types that can't. I'm one that can't, so I know that I have to have a long-term goal when it comes to sustainability rather than a short-term goal for getting to a certain point and maintaining it. So
Yeah, I kind of heard a metaphor that, well, I mean, diets are good. They can be good for people, and they can do great things with them. But it's a diet is kind of like a band-aid. It's not necessarily a permanent fix, but it can help you get by to your next spot. But like you said, if you really want to take stuff off and then keep it off, it is more of a lifestyle change than
yeah.
just, oh, okay, I can do this and then we're good. No, you have to, it's a continual, every day you have to live it.
Well, yeah, that's when you started hearing a few years ago, I'm picking a new lifestyle rather than I'm picking a diet. Diets are going to exist. You're going to have that, but if you're eating a healthy lifestyle, you hear people talk about they're vegan all the time, or they're whatever they're the people that don't eat meat, not necessarily vegans, but vegetarians.
Uh-huh.
And that is a lifestyle, and that will change, how your body processes things and how you have to look at things. But also, having done keto for 3.5 years, I had to change my whole mindset after I was done, because certain things that, eating fruit was something that, I had to very minimalize the whole time I was on keto. And part of the reason why I was excited to not do it anymore is because I missed apples. Well, it's the dumbest thing, but they were a higher sugar content, and so you're not allowed to have that when you're on keto. And so, but it's there's benefits and there's downfalls to changing the lifestyle, and it's just identifying what works best for you, and knowing at what point you need to find a sustainability process rather than just that band-aid and rip that band-aid off. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And then, I just wanted to, if we're talking about setting sustainable goals, what happens when you meet your goal? Um, I know that you have an answer for it. So what happens when you meet your goal?
You got to raise the bar. You got
Set a
to,
new one.
yeah. You can't, once you got there, you can't be, oh, God, made it. All right.
Yeah.
You can do that for a second, but then now you got to reach for that next rung of the ladder.
That's
And
not the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep climbing.
Exactly. I knew you'd pick up exactly what I was talking about as soon as I said that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and that's the thing is, I talked in the beginning about, I hit some goals in 2023, but I've got new goals now. And so I've got, I've got kind of, I don't want to say I have an audience, but I have people that are watching every move that I make because I'm a fitness coach. And so I feel it probably extra when when I'm in the studio and I feel like I've got a little bit more fluff than I should have. But and that's, I've mentioned it before, that's part of my accountability is that knowing that I have to be there and I have an audience that I'm coaching to, that I'm coaching fitness and health to. I can't be looking like I don't take care of myself. So it's important for me to take care of myself and hit those extra goals and be stronger and be supportive of and be able to participate with the likes of Ryan Stockdale, so, so, but and so I'm looking forward to those new goals that I've set, and so, but it's a matter of knowing that I do have short-term goals, and I need to accomplish those so that way I can set new goals and work towards the long-term ones. So,
yeah. And I think part of that journey, as we set our goals and we're working towards them, it's okay if those goals evolve and morph a little bit. I mean, you still have our big goal in mind, but along the way, things are going to happen, and you're going to have to adjust a little here and there, and maybe
for
go
sure.
off path a little bit to get where we need to go, and that's okay. Don't at all feel discouraged that you're not right here the whole time.
Yeah, and it's a matter of adjusting and moving forward rather than giving up. So
Yeah,
I hear that 100%. That's a good point.
absolutely. And if you're listening to this or watching and you've got a big goal in mind, we're talking about setting goals, but you don't know how to do little goals to get up to that. One of the easiest, best things I ever heard was to reverse engineer it. You've got your big goal. Okay, what's the step right below that you have to do to achieve your big goal? And you just keep working back till you've got a starting point. And now you've got your whole roadmap planned out to get to that big goal.
Definitely.
Which makes life pretty easy. You don't have to try to, okay, I need to do this first and that. If you just work backwards, it's all planned out for you.
And that about sums it up. That's awesome. I mean, I didn't even think about that. I've done that plenty of times, and so I know how effective that can be. And so it's a matter of how much time do you have, how much time do you want to spend, and how dedicated can you be? Because there's different levels of dedication as well. So
yeah, absolutely,
sure, good deal. Got anything more to add before we wrap up?
No, just Happy New Year, Ray. It's so good to see you again. I've missed our talks.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back on here with you. And like you said, I'm excited for 2024 and what's coming down the road and what we can accomplish. And
yes, sir.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I'm glad to be back as well. I miss chatting with you as well. So, it's a different level of inspiration to just talk to you. And even though we're doing it for an audience, sometimes I forget that we have an audience because it's just so easy to, and I almost just didn't censor myself. Yes, with you. But yeah, no, it's good. Well, yeah. So wrapping up. Once again, we're Ray Reyes and Ryan Stockdale Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan. We are on YouTube, so give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow. If you're following us and watching this on YouTube, please be sure to comment, share, let a friend know. If you have a passion about fitness, movement, supplementation, or vitamins, reach out to us. We'd love to have guests. We've had a few guests in the past, and it's always a good time. So I'm always looking for more opportunities to have other folks join us. But other than that, we will see you next week. We are here every Monday, 5:45 p.m. And we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Have a good one.